I'd like to call to order tonight's meeting of the Danville Board of Education. Thank everybody who's with us tonight on a very rainy evening. The first item on our agenda is to approve the meeting agenda. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the meeting agenda. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda are our reports and presentations. First, under that list is board member comments. Are there any board members who would like to make a comment before we start tonight? All right. Next is the superintendent's report. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Look.
Good evening. Thanks everyone for coming out. We have a lot of fun things to announce, but first, the latest update on weather is obviously we're out of school today. Most importantly, the 19th, Friday of this week, and Monday following, which were originally on your calendars as flexible off days, are now school days. So therefore, we're going to try and control the last day of school year by having some dates that will convert over. This has hopefully been all your announcements, but again, this Friday and the Monday after are officially school days. With the weather we've had, it's set currently our last day of school will be June 1st, which is a Wednesday, and we'll continue to update that as weather proceeds. I've talked to the folks in charge of the weather. We will have school tomorrow, darn near no matter what. Trust me, most dangerous words ever uttered by someone in charge. Okay. Want to celebrate a number of things. We've had an incredible run for Danville events, and we've got lots of students to recognize here. But I want to mention some others as well that will be upcoming in front of the board, but don't want the opportunity to pass. First, our chapter of JSA has just gotten to Washington, D.C. and back safely. Number one, that's a real positive thing. And they got to meet with all their local congressmen and become part of the debates and the process in D.C. We have had 2 students accepted into military academies based upon congressional appointments, which has included William Rankin and Joseph Alcorn. Soon, Lydia Graham will be auditioning for a spot at Julia. Those kinds of positions, whether they take them or not, recognize some of the incredible abilities of students. It's just an honor to be considered in those worlds because so few people get to play in them. Over the weekend, we had our regional wrestling tournament in which Hamilton Young placed first place. Another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students have all qualified to compete for state. When you can add a wrestling program from a small program and put that many folks at that level, that takes a lot of work and dedication on the part of the coaches, and I'm sure they'll be reporting back to you in the weeks to come about their success once they hit the state meet. Swimming no less. We set a new record, set our latest swimming for the girls 200-meter relay team. As well, there were even individual. The relay members were Haley Akers, Amanda Montgomery, Grace Crawford, Elizabeth Nesman. Haley Akers set a new school record in the 100-meter backstroke. We had a division runner-up in Jackson Wood at the 1-meter diving. Again, really impressive work by all of our students. And our athletics will never be outdone by our academics. Over the weekend as well, we became the Region 16 champions of Bate Middle School academic team. We placed first in the region in quick recall, arts and humanities, language arts, mathematics, science, and then we also took the runner-up spot in science as well, and arts and humanities. Mathematics, we took 3rd and 5th place as well as being a champion. So we're anxious to see how those students do as they progress on to the state competition. All of this is coming in short order. So it's been a busy, successful, wonderful time to be at Admirals. Again, we show the boys' prowess and promise of our students. That recognition goes a little further. We were happy on Friday to welcome back Danville alum and Kentucky Teacher of the Year, Ashley Lamb Sinclair. Who'll be coming and checking out where she grew up and the kind of education that she received that led to her current accomplishments. And then on Thursday as well, we're taking a trip to Franklin Simpson High School, which is a hub school in Kentucky, to try and, I'm sure that there's a more polite term, we're going to steal all their good ideas too. So we've got a team doing that. So it's been a busy series of times since the last time we met, lots of good things to report. And that is what I'm happy to share with you this evening.
All right, thank you. Next is our celebrations of excellence, which is why many of you all are here tonight. So we'll get started with those.
Let's go reverse alphabetical order. Mr. Ballard, come talk to us about Tom.
This evening we actually had 2 groups of student recognitions that we want to acknowledge our students' accomplishments. The first one is going back to last year's K-Prep. And the first 4 students that I have that I want to recognize were distinguished in all categories. If I could have Kendall Carver, Jack Irwin, Katie Rose McSwain, and Macy Grace Terrell. So you'll get to stay up here. We're going to take pictures.
Yeah, do pictures first. We'd like to do pictures for each one of the different boards, especially for you, because you've made 2 appearances trying to make sure we got this right. So thank you for coming back. All right, then we'll just Katie on because she's made a tremendous effort to get here. It's grateful to Mr. Bowden. Thank you.
Our second group that we're going to recognize are students who have scored distinguished in all content areas for the second year. Brianna Brown, Madison Craig, Ramona Pierce, Desiree Tandy, and Nate Wells.
Don't get away. Wait. Parents come in to get the shots at too.
I told her this year she was the one looking at,
That's right.
at me.
That's right. Get it right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
For our third group, we're going to recognize our student leaders. As I spoke a couple of months ago, we have started doing student leaders. We have to go through an interview process with Ms. Goggin, and then starting with this last group, we're actually going to be doing an exit interview. So instead of reading what she has written about these amazing children, I'm going to let her take the mic and tell you about them. She's the one that actually works with them every day.
Okay, Quentin, if you'll come up if you're here. Quentin Anderson, Chloe Strasek, Emma Bosley, Jonah Motika, and Hank Helmers. I just want to say a little bit about them. They've worked awfully hard. These students, there are 5 of them, and they are my safety patrol in the morning, and they have done a great job of independently managing the hallways in the morning. When you walk in, you see them offering a friendly good morning. They help find backpacks, and they offer any assistance that the students might need. They have learned to synergize, not just with the other students, but with each other. I think that they have learned that when they work together, they develop those win-win situations. I've seen them develop friendships with students they wouldn't normally come in contact with. I'm very proud of these 5 students, seeing them develop as leaders. They offer assistance with much patience and kindness, and it's not a difficult job to find that balance between being a peer and also being the leader. So if you'll please give them a round of applause.
Our moms.
Get out of the way.
Hello to mom. Thank you.
Back.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one more student, Andrew Lamb. Andrew, if you'll come up here. All right, Andrew. Andrew has been my homework assistant since October. Andrew has demonstrated the 7 habits ever since he began. But as I've watched Andrew, he has developed habit 8, which is find your voice. Andrew has definitely found his voice in the homework table. Andrew is there every morning at 7:30, 7:35 to offer students assistance. As I've watched Andrew, I've seen his confidence grow in his own academic skills. He's very patient, and if you watch him, he's so good at explaining a problem to the students without giving them an answer. But I think what I enjoy watching the most is the friendships grow with Andrew. The students request Andrew, and then he was sick for a week, which is very unlike him. And the students every day asked, "Where's Andrew?" They were so worried about him. But now the students are happy to be at homework table. They cannot wait to get there. They know that Andrew's there waiting for them. He offers any assistance that they need, and he never gives any judgment. So if you'll please give him a big round of applause.
Good job.
All right, the students that Jenny Rogers has to recognize are students who have completed Lexia. That is a program that we try to get all our students to complete by the end of third grade. And many of these students tonight are not third grade students. They are in our primary classes. And once they have completed this program, because they're in the lab, a lot of times we offer extended projects, lots of times with the technology piece, to help them keep on growing and moving forward. So I'd like to recognize Palmer Clark, Reagan Ewing, Keyshawn Jones, Talia Pike, Gage Ross, Sydney Smith, Gage Snowden, Demetrius Spoonamore, Jackson Thornsberry,
Worth a big round of applause. Lexia takes a lot of work and time to get through, especially at this age.
and Carson Keller.
Especially cold. Stick together.
As we work on our digable diploma skills, it's always nice to hear kindergartners using that kind of terminology and to hear them repeat those words. And I believe the quote was from a kindergarten student during a math test when he got some encouragement that he could do it and to keep on. "I just need to persevere." That was it. So Aiden Blake, not here, but he is persevering. Yes.
Thanks, Jenny Rogers. Rob, really great.
Yes. All right, the students that I'll be recognizing from Hogsett are students that made huge progress or gains in the MAP assessment from fall to winter. I'd like to recognize these students. We're really proud of their hard work. Tanaya Alcorn in reading, I don't think she's here, but she, from fall to winter, went up 33 points in reading. Kaylee Bourne, Kaylee's here tonight. Kaylee went up 28 points in reading achievement. So congratulations, Kaylee. Landon Davis, I think Landon's here. Sky Douglas, he went up in math, he went up 20 points. 20 points in math from fall to winter. Bryson Logan, Bryson's not here, but he went up 26 points. Gilberto Martinez, he went up in math 26 points. Kelly Reyes, she went up in both reading and math, 25 points in reading and 22 points in math. And Dryston Turner, Dryston went up 20 points in reading achievement. So along with these two students, the students that are going to be receiving their certificates, we're really excited about the progress that they're making. That's really important. So let's give them a hand, Kaylee and Scott.
Thanks to everybody for your great work and for making it here tonight so that we could applaud you all. So thanks. Next item on our agenda is the Arts and Humanities report. Ms. Dewey.
I'm on my way.
That's all right. We see you.
I guess this makes it a little bit easier so I can face both sides. And a couple of you may want to move that way a little bit because I don't have a lot of handouts for you, but it is all part of a PowerPoint, we think. And as we get started, I'd like to thank Dr. Look and the board. I always enjoy the opportunity to come and speak with you about what is happening in the arts in the Danville schools. See, and as an expert in live performance, I actually don't really need the backup media, and I can just go ahead without it. But I do think it is coming up slowly. I was going to start with that the arts are thriving in the Danville Independent School District. And it continues to be, there we go, because the pictures say it much better than I can. It continues to be an essential piece of what we do with kids every single day. And I choose images very carefully, and I chose these three because the one on the right speaks to the very high standards that we hold students to in the arts. That's actually a photo of Miss Green, the visual art teachers board at Bate Middle School. And she would go over all of these criteria with the students, explain to them what each piece means, and work very carefully, not just with the students as a class, but with each individual student to meet these objectives as clearly as they can. So in an arts class, there's often just constant formative assessment going on because you're looking at each individual piece of artwork and you're bringing them along to the criteria that you're setting for that piece of artwork. And while often it looks like a lot of fun, and often we hope that it is a lot of fun, it's also got some real rigor behind us. You probably recognize the center photo when we had Frank X. Walker here for the Frank X. Walker Literary Festival. All means all. And we include the creative writing art as part of the arts, even though we focus on the visual and performing arts, and it's always great to have Frank come back to his alma mater and work with our students. And many hands creating over there on the far left, and making sense out of their work, out of their worlds through visual art. So if you can just go on there, Greg. Wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on in Gravely Hall. There are a lot of lists in this presentation. They're not complete. If I leave your favorite thing off of the list, my apologies in advance. But I've put as much in there as I can think of off the top of my head in putting this together, and reaching out to the arts teachers as well, which I've done. Just from the middle of August through the middle of January, we've had 37 performances in Gravely Hall, plus countless rehearsals, classes, all kinds of things going on. So many, many, many people going in and out of that facility. All of our 2nd through 12th graders have seen at least one performance in Gravely Hall free of charge this semester. The theater is used as a classroom for classes at Danville High School, for guest speakers, student performances and presentations, and Bate, Hogsett, and Jenny Rogers all had student performances in Gravely Hall as well this semester. So we're thrilled to be able to host as many of our schools as we possibly can. And Baton Hogsett were able to bring all of their students over to see performances. So another really great opportunity to have students experience performing arts in an actual performing arts venue. Just brings it to life for them a little bit more. We had some community partnerships, and I would really be remiss if I didn't mention those because they helped make some of this happen. The Frank X. Walker Festival and the performance of York was brought to us by Citizens Concerned for Human Relations. The UK Opera Outreach Program, Billy Goat's Gruff, which reached most of our elementary school students, was brought to us by Dr. Barbara Hall, the Arts Commission of Danville, Boyle County, and the Community Arts Center Arts Partners. And then our Danville High School drama and speech students had the opportunity to see Boy Meets Girl Meets Shakespeare. And that was because Boyle County High School had a grant to bring that performance in, and they graciously brought it to our venue to see. So they brought their students over here for that. Oh, we just got to hear so many celebrations of excellence, and it's always, I just love seeing the different things that students are recognized for, and the fact that we recognize students for their achievements in so many different areas. My presentation wouldn't be complete without recognizing some of our art students. So I'll try to go through it quickly. We had an all-star cast member from the Kentucky Theater Association Festival in Madison Porter this year. Our own Lydia Graham, who you just heard about, was selected to sing with the Kentucky Music Educators Association chorus at the KMEA conference. Bate Middle School had 8 students selected from 300 auditioning for places in the KMEA District 11 Middle School Honors Band. Danville High School students, they ran the top 3 in the piggy bank contest in our area, and we had a state winner as well with Savannah Vanover's Rainbow Design Pig. We have a Hogsett Elementary School students' work. Spivey the Turtle will be part of the VSA traveling exhibit, and that will be at Hogsett in the end of April. Jacob Towns and Christian Deshawn from DHS were selected for the KMEA Bluegrass All-Regional Honors Band. We had Jim Clay art contest winners from Jenny Rogers and from Tolliver Elementary, and 2 of those went on to place a district as well. We again need to mention the Danville High School speech team. They've placed 1st or 2nd in every contest they've been to this year. Bate Middle School and Danville High School academic teams had students finish in the top 4 in arts and humanities. We don't usually include that because we think about students creating and performing, but students who have knowledge of the arts and humanities help our academic team go on to victory. You've heard some of this, but I thought I would bring you as much as I could. This is arts news from our elementary schools. The Art Smart initiative at Hogsett is going strong. Students identified as gifted and talented in dance got to attend the Parsons Dance Company this semester and have a dance workshop with a teaching artist, and that was sponsored by Deal Inc. Again, we're really fortunate to have great community partners. Our after-school strings program, and I see one of our after-school strings students, yeah, would you give a wave, Piper, right back there, is going strong at, and it's housed at Hogsett this year, and we provide bus transportation for some students from our other schools over to Hogsett for that. Tolliver had a storytelling art and music artist residency that was bilingual in their 5th grade classes this semester. We have expanded our arts literacy work. Several of our teachers went to an arts academy on this summer, and they are doing work in classrooms, and then we were able to expand even further through a collaboration with an education class at Center College, and they came into some of our elementary and middle school classes at the end of January with this work. Students from all 3 elementary schools attended Berenstain Bears Live through the ACTS program that the Norton Center offers. Arts and Humanities at Hogsett was a resounding success. They do that every year. The 2nd grade students at Hogsett did a bilingual play with their teachers, with their music teacher, and with their Spanish teacher. A puppetry performance on bullying. was done for all students. And that's kind of a really interesting thing, the development of empathy in our students and the arts, and there's been quite a bit of research done on that subject with regards to students learning to develop empathy through actually engaging in the arts. The Arts Expression program is continuing with special education students and their peer mentors. The elementary schools and Karen Thompson was awarded a VSA grant this year, and the Tolliver 5th grade got a transportation grant to attend a performance at Lexington Children's Theater. And in all of our schools, we're doing curriculum revision work. On to the middle school. Our choirs are singing everywhere this year, and the Bait choirs all went to the Veterans Day luncheon hosted by Heritage Hospice at the Armory. The 7th grade, the jazz band is continuing on. The 7th and 8th grade students from Bait joined with our marching admirals at the high school, and they had a successful successful season. Our Bait drama students joined with students from Boyle County Middle School and the West T Hill Theater for 2 recent nights of unscripted improv. We have more teachers from Bait Middle School joining in with the arts literacy work. They were invited to become part of the Kentucky Partner Schools, and through that they're getting training in arts literacy. They're getting to take students to see performances like Remembering the World of Anne Frank, which was recently at Stage 1 at the Kentucky Center. They also got to view a Holocaust mural exhibit that generated a great deal of conversation in their classes afterwards. And some of them may get to go perform at the Kentucky Center in, I think it's the beginning of May. So that's an exciting piece. DHS hosted its first community arts picnic, and it was a rousing success, and the Bait performance groups performed there as well. The visual arts students have been busy. They created greeting cards, and they created the set for the holiday play, if you had a chance to see that. And we'll go on. Danville High School. Some of this we've already talked about, so I'm not going to go through it all, but students from Danville High School performed The Odyssey at the Kentucky Theater Association Festival. The theater production class participated in Boyle County's Big Read and performed Poe's Purloined Letter. Danville High School Choir has been singing and singing and singing, and if things work, you might hear them right at the end of this. They performed at EKU Choral Day, the Boyle County Retired Teachers Breakfast, and they went caroling at Sunrise and a couple of our healthcare centers. The Danville Marching Admirals, and I think this is the first time this is public, so I get to make the announcement, so drum roll please. They're going to be performing with the Great American Brass Band Festival in their parade this year. The Community Arts Center and Danville High School, this is another biggie because these are really difficult to write and really hard to get. They were awarded a National Endowment for the Arts grant for steamroller printmaking. This is going to give kids a chance to go to studios in Louisville, create prints, bring in guest artists, and they get to create personal and community art pieces. And they use a great big huge giant roller printer, which is very, very cool. 9th grade students are going to see Romeo and Juliet at the Norton Center. This is provided by the Danville Schools Education Foundation, which also provides our strings program that Piper's a part of. Ricky Tikki Tavi was performed for KSD, the Kentucky School for the Deaf after school program, and students at Jenny Rogers after school program. And the Tech Theater Club students continue to celebrate Halloween with the Community Arts Center. So we have been busy in the Danville schools in our arts programs. I'm kind of skipping on to my other hat now, and I'm going to give you all a couple of handouts on this one. I've been really fortunate, and I think when Dr. Look asked me to do this, he wasn't sure if I thought I would be fortunate or not, but I've been really fortunate to work closely with our elementary school Spanish teachers, setting Spanish proficiency benchmarks for 5th grade. And I'm just amazed at the work that they've been able to do with this. They are piloting these this year. They hope to get together at the end of this year or the beginning of next year to then take the results of this pilot of these assessments, and this is what you're getting is only a partial little look at what they're doing. They've set 9 proficiency benchmarks in 9 different learner benchmarks, and they're going to be piloting those this year. Then looking at the results of the pilot, and then of course they want to meet with the middle school teachers and the high school teachers and kind of take this on up. But the work they've done with this is just outstanding. So I don't speak but a couple of words of Spanish, but I've considered myself really fortunate to work with them. And I'm just going to quickly mention, because work like this doesn't happen overnight. So they have obviously been working together in the schools now for a couple of years, and starting last year they started to get really intentional with attending meetings, trainings where the focus was on intentional teaching of the world language standards. We had Alfonso de Torres come at the end of last year. He met with all of our world language teachers about this. Then they were able to go to the KWLA conference in the fall, which is absolutely essential to work like this. And this has all been processing in their minds over the last, let's say, year and a half, and then was able to really result in this very fine work. That is not just fine work because it's fine work on paper, but it's going to be really great for our kids. So we couldn't have a presentation, at least in my mind, without having what's next. So we can go to the next slide. Because we're never really finished, right? And I tell students that all the time. I love it that Miss Stinnett in the art department here at Danville High School says to her students, oh no, this project takes X number of days and you can't tell me you're finished until the end of that day or you're not going to get as good a grade on it. So we believe in just moving forward. And if we can, we're going to go to this link and listen maybe for a moment to the Danville High School Choir in a rehearsal. Because this is really what it's all about. And while I used to sing in high school, I'm not going to entertain you tonight. I'm just going to say we've got lots of things in the works, and these are just the specific things that we are doing over the next few months. We've got students auditioning and completing portfolio reviews for Governor's School for the Arts. Our Danville High School musical, Something's Afoot, will go up May 5th through the 7th. We're going to continue working with arts literacy techniques in our PBL products. Tina Green at Jenny Rogers is doing some outstanding work with that, and it really showed in the last piece that they did on leadership. They will continue with their performance and visual arts projects as well, which they are interweaving together. This Kentucky Center Partnership Project is now also involving Miss Green's class and Mrs. Hildebrand's classes with the production that will be coming out of the 7th grade students. And all of this is around their study of the Holocaust. Danville High School students will be auditioning for sectionals in band. We are continuing to make progress with our arts in our District of Innovation plan. We've got the Youth Art Fair coming up in April, and we will continue cultivating and nurturing our community arts partnerships. I chose, again, very intentional. It wasn't a perfect performance because the arts are just something that we do every day, and our students are engaged with them every day, and that creating and performing and connecting to the arts will serve them as they continue on through life. Thank you. Questions?
You've been a busy lady.
I just want to thank you for your energy and the opportunities that you find for us, and just the way that you focus too on making sure that all kids get experience in so many different ways of seeing and doing and participating and really appreciating what the arts are, and even, as you mentioned, just the kids who are studying arts on the academic team. I mean, we cover it in so many different ways, and we appreciate your efforts to make that happen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
All right. Next on our agenda is the District of Innovation report.
I've invited Mr. Goodwin to join us this evening to talk about our District of Innovation. He's got a pretty cool announcement to make, as well as some updates, and I'm not going to steal his thunder, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Let you go to it.
Probably won't be as good as Jane. Did Jane leave? Oh, she's still here. One thing she didn't mention, I know you're wondering what she didn't mention. She also did not mention that a recent Danville graduate has been seen on TV in a commercial living out the art's dream of acting by the name of Dylan Crow. So you might catch him on TV. So you gotta watch a lot of TV, but snow days allow for that, I guess. Is it on YouTube now? Maybe you can send out the link for it. No, I'm just here to, Joy, not ask for money, rather to let you know that we have recently been awarded a $25,000 grant through Toyota to implement a new class at Danville High School called Computer Integrated Manufacturing, which will be a really cool class. It's sort of builds on one of the units that we have in a class that we teach right now that I'm teaching at this moment, and two of your children are in that class, but don't tell them that I said this, but it's the best unit because when the bell rings for hall change, I go out in the hall and stand in the hall, and then when it rings to start class, I walk back into class, and usually I tell the class, all right, we gotta get going, blah, blah, blah. When this unit starts, when I walk back into class, all the students already have their test beds out and their computer programming systems up, and they're working away at it, all at different spots, and the only commentary that I get from them is when I say, okay guys, listen up, I need to tell you about today, and I black out all their screens on their computers, and they all turn around and go, what? Because they want to get back to it, because it's a perfect blend of hands-on mechanical systems where they get to manipulate with their hands, and they also get to work with the computer, but they're not necessarily staring at the computer screen the whole time, so it's a perfect blend of all these great things, and it's real-time problem solving all the time. So it's a great class. We're excited to introduce it next year, and hopefully we can get people on board with it. So,
Thanks, Dan. Any other additional shares?
what's that?
You want to talk about give us a quick insight into how well the robotics team.
So an extension of this, an after-school extension of this, is the robotics team. It sort of goes along the same way, or the same train of thought. They're doing really well. We have 3 teams this year. We had 1 last year, and 3 this year. One has officially qualified for state. The other one is there. It's just not official until the last meet, but they're qualifying second in the driver skills. So they're doing well. We hope to get all 3 qualified. That was our team goal for the year. So hopefully that will happen this next weekend. We'll see. Let's see, the other.
Where's the bus?
And the bus. So I don't know if you know, we were given a bus last summer for a senior elective course that we call Enlisted. We spent the first half of the year gutting it and then trying to figure out different ways to motivate high school seniors to do something above and beyond. And I don't know if you've been to, not to give away too much of the secret, but if you've ever been to a place called Breakout Lexington, they're called escape games, where you have to go into a room and then you're given all these tasks and you have to solve these challenges to get out of the room in a certain amount of time. So we took the kids there for a team building exercise, and it turns out that's what they wanted to do with the bus. So we've got all these different challenges drawn up. We're starting to prototype them all, and they were starting to lag a little bit. And then just by happenstance, the people from Breakout Lexington said, we would love to come down and see what you're doing with this. And so all the kids were like, how about like May they come? And we said, nope, 2 weeks they'll come. And so hopefully they're coming Thursday, weather depending. So we'll keep you posted on that. Great. That's it. Anything else? Good.
Thank you. Anything else on that? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the personnel report. Look in your, we have a hard copy of it here, but it's not made into the attachments on the electronic version, but it's just presented as a FYI. So it's here if you want to look at it as a hard copy, and it'll be sent out to board members after tonight's meeting. It's not.
Any personnel actions will report in March.
Right.
So those are.
It's, right. It's not an action item anyway, so it's just a FYI. So you can look at the one here tonight, or there'll be one that'll go out to you later. Next item on our agenda is reserved for the public. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? All right. Next item on our agenda is the minutes of previous meetings. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the meetings from January 4th, 2016, the meetings from the Finance Corporation, which was held January 4th, 2016. And we amend the meeting minutes from January 11th, 2016 to say, item number 15, the motion going into executive session, strike the word appointment and change the word and to "and" for individual employee. And the meetings from January 25th, 2016, item 20, request for unpaid medical leave of absence. Mr. Becker's vote should be noted as a no. With those changes, I move that we approve the meeting minutes for January 4th, the Finance Corporation minutes from January 4th, January 11th, and January 25th.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the financial report. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the financial report as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Campbell.
Before we review the financial statement, just by way of announcement, Thursday we will receive our bond sale proceeds. We will come to the bank on the 18th, a little better than $14 million. We do have an agreement with farmers that we will earn 0.7 interest. We're currently on our regular account at 0.5, so our percentage rate is a little bit better. So I will be bringing back to you at the next meeting agreements that we will sign for that. So on our financial statements, if you will notice on the front page, we no longer have an explanation at the bottom of the page on what's being held on the balance sheet, because all of those funds have been moved to their respective places, whether it was for roof or maintenance, etc. We still have laying on the balance sheet on the one item, and that's the assigned funds for 16-17. So those funds are still set aside. If you take a look at the revenue page, I would just draw your attention to the general property tax line. We still have outstanding at face value $240,000 on property taxes, and that is 386 parcels. So collections have gone very well this year. We typically only have remaining at the end of the year when we go to sell the bill somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000. So we'll collect over half of what's remaining. Down on the SEEK program line, we are still waiting to see what that final adjustment is going to be on our SEEK funds for the year. It's forecasted to be 1%, but we still don't have the final amount on that yet. Any questions on anything with the financials?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item is payment of invoices. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the payment of invoices.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the payment of invoices. They total $264,988.54 as presented. Ms. Campbell?
Just two that I'll call your attention to. We do have a payment on Tolliver Elementary project, get that in a second, to Ross Turner for $121,000. When we begin our construction payment bills to rigs and our direct purchase orders, we will have those as a separate section on the bills, just so we can keep track of our dollar values with that. The second bill, though, I want to call your attention to is a refund to Panasonic. And those are PSC taxes, and they're based on their tax returns as they are filed and then audited. So this was a 2013 adjustment to their inventory. We had to refund. There's no recourse. There's nothing we can do to put that into question. So we had to refund them $1,000.
Any questions on the payment of invoices? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion is stated, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the SPDM allocations for 2016-17. Is there a motion?
I move, go ahead. Just been reading off the screen. Move that we approve the 2016-17 SPDM staffing allocation formula.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Campbell, we want to talk about that.
Just a short explanation. This is how we staff our schools, certified, classified employees. We have our base allocation that mirrors the state minimums. However, we have been able to, for the past several years, staff at less per pupil than the state minimums. So this is the max that it would be at 131, 129, or 124 for primary. So then we have the additional positions. There are no changes in the allocations on those for next year. And so what I'm saying is we're going to be able to staff with the same formula that we had in the past couple of years. Classified stays the same. The custodial allocation stays the same. So any questions on those? And allocation is based on the per pupil number in the school, so it's a driven formula based on the number of students.
And I'll just repeat a question that I sent to Dr. Look earlier as we were working on the agenda. What we're approving tonight really is the formula just for calculating our base allocations. We will be coming back to this in the months ahead, looking at other positions or other things that are funded from the general fund. So this is not where schools end up necessarily. This is just the floor.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
That's the correct statement, yes. So base allocation, and as we go forward with the budget, we can determine needs once funds available the next year over the allocation.
Okay, just want to be clear about that. Any questions on this? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the board procedure 08.113 AP1, which will now shortly be translated into English for everyone. But we need a motion on that. Is there a motion? Yeah, number 9.
I move that we approve the board procedure 08.113 AP as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Schultz.
Yes, sir. We've been working on this procedure to try and clarify some of the language. This procedure allows 8 middle school students that are eligible to enroll and receive high school credit for courses that are designated ahead of time. Our previous policy, there was some confusion. I think some people felt like there was a limit to the number of course credits that a middle school student could receive. What we've done in the language is to try and clarify that between the Bate Council and the high school working together, we designate those courses in the spring so that then students can enroll, and it takes away the perception of a limit to the number of credits. That's basically the change in the language.
Any questions? We have a motion and a second to approve the board procedure. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Mr. Schultz. Next item on the agenda is the non-resident student contracts. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve of the non-resident contracts for 2016-17 school year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Who wants to explain kind of what basically this is? You're so close to the microphone.
That's fine, Mr. McKinney's not able to be here tonight. Basically, those are agreements with surrounding counties, and there's no change in those agreements. Mr. McKinney's just asking for board permission to renew those for next year. Some counties, it's an agreement of a plus-minus number that allows students to come and go, enroll between our districts. And in some districts, I believe the wording is any and all, and so it's more of a per pupil agreement. But there's no change from the past few years to what he's proposing for next year.
This is just a routine step we take every year, have to, need
Yes.
to. Are there any questions about this one? All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is mechanical commissioning for elementary redesign project. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve of the facility commissioning group proposal in the amount of $41,125 for the mechanical commissioning on the elementary redesign project. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Steve, welcome.
Yes, I am in place of Ed again. Called me and asked me to come down here and kind of explain, or if you had any questions on what this curve is, including basically what this is commissioning of the mechanical, electrical, fire alarm systems. It is a requirement by the Kentucky Building Code now. It's a fairly recent addition to the code. So they are a third-party independent. They report directly to you. So they are in no way influenced by the contractors that are installing this. So they're going to make sure that the systems are installed or operate at the optimum level that they are designed for.
And this is an item that was built into the project.
Yes, it's included on the
Because it's a third party, we
yeah, it's
do it.
included on your BG1 that we approved. So again, all this money is already accounted for. It's a little bit less than what we had budgeted, so that's good news for this part.
Are there any questions about this? We have a motion and a second to approve the facility commissioning group proposal. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is testing and balancing of air and water systems for the elementary redesign project. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the testing and balancing air water systems for the elementary redesign project. Do you want me to?
Yeah, we need to say.
Totaling $18,820 with a $400 a day charge for duct air leakage testing to perform the test and balance work on the elementary redesign project. Approval of the EBC is what is needed.
So again, they're going to
Wait,
work.
we need a second.
Oh.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So a motion and a second for the IBCO proposal.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Again, this is a little more technical. They are kind of, again, third-party independent contractors. They are going to be in support of commissioning, kind of go hand in hand. They're going to test the hydronic system, which is the hot and cold water that's running through the systems that allow the air heat pumps to heat or cool the air. So they want to make sure that the fluid flowing through the pipes is a balance, so every unit's getting what they need. Likewise, they'll also balance the air system that's coming out of those heat pump systems that are in each classroom and each offices. Again, making sure that there's a right amount of air coming out and the whole system balanced. They also will hit the domestic water. So again, plumbing systems that go into the restrooms and sinks, and also hit the kitchen hood. Again, that's going to be a fairly big system that's drawing a lot of air out of that kitchen to keep it cool. And in the meanwhile, they want to make sure it's balanced properly, so it doesn't put the building under too much of a negative or positive pressure. And so they'll report again to you. They'll also help with the commissioning part of it too.
This is not a surprise cost.
No, again, this is built into the BG1 ahead of time. It's again, strongly recommended by KE that it's also a third party and not, before, a lot of times it was part of the contractor's responsibility. Well, you got problems with that when contractors would come in and say, yeah, balanced when it wasn't. So this is again a third party that's going to do its own report and report back to you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on that one. Are there any more questions? All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Eric. All right.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is the partial train agreement at Danville High School. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve of the intelligence services amendment to partial train.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the intelligence services agreement with partial train. Who wants to explain this one?
I'll take it.
Dr. Lowe.
Intelligence Services establishes meters, and we're going to be targeting Danville High School on our energy systems. Those meters relay information to folks at Harshall Train who monitor 24/7 to make sure that we're operating at maximum efficiency. Should there ever be issues, alarms are alerted, and we are then contacted and we'll be able to fix those issues and result from there. They believe that by this arrangement that we should see significant returns on our energy costs, as in reductions in costs. There's fees associated with our work. First, we have to pay for the hardware and we pay for a yearly service fee. They expect for our revenue to outweigh the costs incurred. As we previewed some of this work, we worked with Harshall Trains for a guarantee on that system. So in the first 3 years, what you see in front of you is a cost totaling around $14,000. Part of that is the hardware cost, broken up over a 3-year period, and part of that is annual service fee. If we have not recouped 100% of our dollars at the end of year 3, Harshall Train will make us whole, either in the form of equipment or services. Their gamble on the other side is that this is no gamble for you at all because you will reap rewards far beyond what is in fact listed what they believe to be conservative estimates. If that's the case, then what you would see in year 4 is a reduced cost because we would only be paying for the annual service contract because the hardware at that point in time will be fully expended. That's not the right way of saying. We will fully bought again. The calendar doesn't begin until the equipment is fully installed and up and running. So even if we're improving this today, the clock doesn't start until Harshall Train comes, puts the equipment on our meters, make sure that the relays are working, and establishes the calendar at that point in time. Again, the key to this, I think, that's most important is that at the end of year 3, if we have not broken even, Harshall Train guarantees the work in order and it will make us whole.
All right, and we discussed this in detail and at length at our work session. I'm just saying for the people who might be watching this and wondering, do we understand the details of this? And we asked a lot of questions then. Does anybody have any more questions tonight? We have a motion and a second to approve of the Intelligent Services Agreement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
That we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We do not have a need for an executive session tonight. So the last item on the agenda is to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight, and we'll wish for better weather. Thanks.